Welcome to the forecast. To my right, we have AP18. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
And to my left, Gary himself. Garrett, how you doing?
Doing swell.
Today is, what is it today? The last Wednesday in May, the fifth one, 6 according to Alex, but 5:31.
The 30th.
30th. No? 5:30. This is the Wednesday Comics forecast. We're going to tell you what comic books are coming out today, tell us you know what to pick up. It's a very good week. There's a lot of good stuff this week. We can't even figure out what to review. So much stuff this week, so we're just going to dive into it first on this list. Image Comics, Barrier number 5. This is Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin. This massive 50-page finale brings our multilingual epic to its shocking conclusion. Alex, what do you think? This thing's coming to a conclusion. 5 out of 5. It's been a weekly series, so it's flown by. Was this worth it to you, and are you looking forward to the end?
I got one thing to tell everyone. First of all, Brian K. Vaughan, one of my favorite writers, so I definitely am looking forward to this book. Secondly, haven't read anything in a long time, so I'm behind on most everything. I am so excited for this book, and for the fact that Image did a weekly 5-week book, not 6, like I told you last week. This book is so good. That art is so strong, and actually I think the art is the strongest part. With that third issue as being a silent issue, solid. So I am pumped for this book to come out, and I'm excited to read it all.
The first issue was oversized. It's the last issue oversized, both of them $4.99. So it'd be a little more, but it's about 50 pages, $5. It's about 10 cents a page, right, Alex? If I'm doing the math correctly.
Yeah, about that.
So it's not that bad of a deal compared to what you get. So I'm looking forward to that. Barrier, we'll see the end of that. Descender, number 30th, is Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen. This is a great book. I'll tell you all about it. Actually, you know what, Garrett? How's this book going?
It's going really good. You can definitely tell that the ending is in sight. But this book has constantly been a great story with great art. It's so far along its storyline that I can't even really say what's going on. Just know that we're definitely in the last act of this story, and it's been a wild ride.
I'm going to put it out there now. Garrett and I will talk about the actual last issue of the book on one of the shows when it comes up, so we can tell you all about it and spoil it for Marvin.
Yeah, right. Marvin's reading it too, right?
Yeah. What do you mean spoiled?
Well, I'm just saying we're going to read it first. Marvin will be one issue behind. He'll be like, "Guys, I didn't get to issue 30." Or 32 or 33 or whatever it is. And we're like, bro, you had so many months to get it. And we're going to spoil it for you.
Killer Be Killed.
Issue.
Killer Be Killed. Number 19. This is Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker and Betty Brewster on colors. This is the fourth arc ends with a bang. If Dylan can't get to the trouble, well, it'll just come to him. Trapped in an insane asylum, Dylan fights for his life and whatever future he may have. And don't forget, every issue of Killer Be Killed contains extra back issue articles and art we talked about on the show. Also, little extras at the end, so make sure to get it on issues. You know what is surprising to me in this, Alex, and I'm going to defer to you and see what you think. 3 things here. First, this is the end of the fourth arc, but we know the next issue is the actual final issue. So do you think this is going to be the end of the story and then we get like an epilogue to end the thing, to wrap it up?
I would say yes.
Because it looks like this is actually going to be like the end. And 2, does this sound like Die Hard in an insane asylum? He's locked in there, and they come after him, so he's got to fight his way out.
This was the Die Hard that you and I think even Gary had a little bit of a conversation about. Old habits die hard. He's going to take some people out in prison. Way to go!
Well, it's a mental hospital. It's not a prison.
More importantly, it's like Arkham Asylum. Then
he looks crazy on that cover. Sean Phillips is great on faces, and like that cover. I think it's the first time that I'm afraid of Dylan. It's like now he's like, oh yeah, I forgot that he might be crazy.
I'm pretty sure he is crazy. I want to know where he gets that shotgun from. Either does he get it from the other back, someone else, or does he secretly have one?
We'll see.
In his room.
It's sad that the series is ending, but this issue should be good. It's going to be the end of the actual arc, so should be good.
It's going to get you amped for the conclusion.
The Last Siege number 1, this is Landry Q. Walker and Justin Greenwood. A Tale of Blood, Desperation, and Loss. New York Times bestseller Landry Q. Walker joins artist Justin Greenwood for our new ongoing series, The Last Siege. Spaghetti Western storytelling meets Game of Thrones atmosphere in this gritty medieval war story as a mysterious stranger arrives at a castle overrun with brutal soldiers bent on usurping the throne of the rightful heir, an 11-year-old girl. An action-packed, genre-twisting series, or epic, The Last Siege begins. So new number 1, if you want to pick it up there. I don't know any of these creators, but it sounds like, New York Times bestselling author. Maybe it's Laundry's first comic book work, but so check that out if you're looking for something new to pick up. Lazarus, number 28. This is Greg Rucka, Michael Lark, Fraction, Prelude, the conclusion. Jonah Clark is dead. Jonah Kerr has made a new life for himself on the edge of Bittner territory, but as much as Jonah may have escaped his family, he can't escape the world his family has made. Garrett, you know what? When did the last issue come out? It seems like a while ago.
No, it came out last month.
Oh, did it? Really?
I think it's one of those first week of 1 month. Now we're at the last week of the second month.
That would make more sense.
To technically be still in the 2 months. And this is the last monthly issue, basically, and then after this it goes to quarterly. So this is the last bit of Lazarus you're going to get until September.
That's exciting, but it's also kind of disappointing.
I know, it's gone for so long.
Sorry,
Expo 66, but...
Yeah, but we've only been back for 2 issues on the ongoing Lazarus, then to have another 4 months off, then back in September. I realize we're going to get more content. That's great. But I'm also like, that's kind of unfortunate. I have to wait so long to get more book.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's great that I'm very curious how that's going to work, that quarterly book, and how it's going to feel and look. And it makes me excited to get a quarterly book. But then also, it's like Alex said, it's kind of disappointing that we just came back with it. Now we have to wait again to see more of this story. But I think we learned that at least Lazarus is worth waiting for, so it should be okay.
It is, but we haven't seen Forever in almost a year now. So
yeah,
it'd be cool to see what's going on with her, but I guess that adds to the suspense of the story.
Royal City, number 11. This is Jeff Lemire and Jeff Lemire. We All Float On, Part 1, a brand new storyline of Jeff Lemire's Acclaim series kicks off as the Pike family rallies around their newest surprise member, but Richie sets off on a dark path that can only end in tragedy. Alex, Royal City coming back here. We had a little break. Not really a little break. The other one came out not too long ago. But it's the next. We were in the past for a while, so I guess that's what I'm saying. Now we're going to go back to the main story. Are you looking forward to this?
Oh, hell yeah. As we said in 2017, year of Jeff Lemire, this was one of my favorite books. And as we learned earlier this week, Royal City's ending at issue 14. So 4 issues left. I am super pumped to see where it's going, how it's going to end, what kind of stakes are at in this issue or in this last 4 issues. So I'm just bringing it on, and I'm along for the ride.
Saga number 52. This is Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples. Danger approaches. That's all they're going to tell you. We got my favorite character on the cover. Whoa, put some clothes on, dude. They're all swimming in the pool with a black hole underneath them. This series is getting ready real good. Very, very good. And that cover is colored beautifully. That water looks makes me thirsty.
Legit.
Kind of. Yeah.
It does.
Alex, how's Saga been going?
I have a guilty thing to say. I am still behind by 2 issues. I haven't read 50, which Marvin says was great. I haven't read 51,
Alex,
which I heard is great.
I'm caught up and you're not on something.
I'm actually so ashamed. This is one of those books.
Wow.
I know. You heard it here first, everyone.
Well, let me tell our
Alex
listeners.
Is ashamed.
Saga right now. So look, for a while, Saga was great, and then it became one of those books where I'm like, yeah, it's good, but it's not really that exciting. Like I'm kind of figuring out how this is going to go, and then something happens. There's like a little time jump, a little spoilers in there. But since then, and what was that, Alex? Like 30, 28.
I was gonna say 40. Like issue 40, when they're on that comet, is the start of it being really great again.
Oh, a little before that for me, but it's around 35, 40. Since then, this book has been excellent. This book is probably one of my favorite books. Every time I read it, I don't know what to expect. And Fiona Staples, since issue 1, has not faltered at all. Her art's been amazing. And this is a series that if you're not into and you're not reading it right now, I think you really are missing out on something, and I think you should pick up. So you can, he makes it very easy. The trades come out on a regular schedule, and then also there's a collection of you basically get 2 hardcover collections, and we almost caught up. So I would say to pick this up, and where we're at right now is fun, scary, and very heartfelt if it can happen all at once, and it does in this book. So
from the outside looking in, I am impressed that Saga has been coming out consistently, because that book comes out, it seems like way quicker than a month.
I don't think it's ever been delayed. They have breaks, but they tell you they're having breaks in the book, and that's when the trades come out and they give it time to catch up, and then they go back to doing it. So there's never been a time where Brian, Kayvon, or Fiona's had to apologize, being like, "Oh, sorry, we were late." They've been on point since issue 1, so it's good. 52 weeks. Not 52 months, excuse me. Not 52 weeks. Maybe longer than that, actually. When did issue 1 come out, Alex?
It was 2012.
2012, so good.
So it's been
6
years of this book coming out?
That's Image Comics, Dark Horse Comics, Blackwood #1. This is Evan Dorkin and Veronica Fish from the multi-Eisner Award-winning creator of The Beast of Burden and the artists of Archie and Slam come the supernatural fantasy about a magic murder in a sorcery school when 4 teenagers with a haunted past enroll in Blackwood College, a school that trains students in the occult. Their desire to enhance their supernatural abilities and bond with others is hampered by the undead dean's curse, Ghost, in their dorm, and mischievous 2-headed mummy chimp, a plague of mutant insects, and discovery of an ancient evil that forces our heroes to undergo a crash course in the occult for the sake of the world. Garrett, I heard from a little birdie, probably that bird on the cover there, that you are looking to get this book, but also reading that, it sounds like it's kind of up your alley, because you're like a Harry Potter guy. That sounds like a kind of Harry Potter kind of take on a story. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Harry Potter-esque, supernatural-esque, and it does make me think of Gotham Academy quite a bit for some reason. Plus, Becky Cloonan does a variant cover for the first issue, so there might be that too. But I am, I'm pretty excited for this. I am bummed that it's only a 4-issue mini, but maybe there'll be more volumes than just one. But I always love a good mystery, and when there's all that kind of supernatural kind of game, play around the story. So I'm excited to see what the story's about, and based on that cover alone, the art looks incredible. But this is the artist. The cover artist is Veronica Fish. I'm excited to see the interior art. So
yeah, I think it is. IDW Publishing, I want to bring this up because I did not see this until this very moment, and it makes me excited. From the writer of Flintstones, Mark Russell, and then also art from Max Dunbar, Judge Dredd Under Siege #1. When all contact from Patrick Swayze block is lost, Dredd and Judge Beanie investigate only to find out it's become a beachhead for an all-out mutant assault on Mega City 1. Cutting-edge humor, intense, gritty action from writer Mark Russell, once again from Flintstones and God is Disappointed in You, and artist Max Dunbar, Gears of War. That says, people always... I always see a lot of people asking Judge Dredd, how to get into it. It's obviously something that people like. They like that Dredd movie, but I've never... I know Judge Dredd has its following. It's mostly a UK following. In the States, it kind of is this underground thing. So IDW has the rights to publish their own series in the States. So here's #1 if you're looking into Judge Dredd. Mark Russell is an excellent writer. So if you were ever looking to pick up Judge Dredd, here it is.
That cover is awesome.
Yeah, I know. So I saw that. I was like, I got to talk about this book. DC Comics, it's a 5th week, so DC is going to do a little special. It's called another crossover with Hanna-Barbera, Aquaman Jabberjaw special #1 that said Dan Abnett, Jeff Parker, Scott Collins on art. So Jabberjaw and Aquaman. You see that cover there. If you like Jabberjaw, there you go. Bane Conquest #1, 11. Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. The penultimate issue of this year-long event starts and ends with an action. Has this really been consistently coming out each month?
No, it is not.
Okay,
so that's a bullshit.
2 or 3 months since the last one came out.
Okay, I was confused because really, this thing's still going on? That's the reason why, because there's been delays. Okay, how's this thing been, Garrett? It's penultimate issue. Are you excited for this still?
I feel like it's more of a chore at this point because, again, that was the whole thing, is that it was going to be a storyline that we got. into like a year's timeline, and like the first half of the series was really good, and then like issues 6 through 9, not so good, and then now we have and 10. So this, I'm like, based on my cover, I'm like, okay, that looks exciting, but 2 issues left to tell basically a 2-part arc, because I don't even remember what happened in issue 10. We'll see.
I don't remember. I know that they were looking for the kid, or they were hunting for the kid, or
I'm sure it's the same storyline along those lines.
It's fine, but now it's just that part of me that's like, I just need to finish it up and be done with it.
It should have been just 6 issues, I think.
I agree.
Well, yeah, you're right. Even when it first came out, I think we were talking about it because I picked up the first issue. And I was like, wow, this thing's really going to be 12 issues. But I guess, good for them going back to Bane, but also at what point is it more self-indulgence being like, hey, let's try to Bane thing for 12 issues, rather than like, hey, we should write, we have a story to tell. At least from my point, that's what it seemed like from the beginning. But speaking of that special, Black Lightning Hong Kong Phooey special number 1, this is Brian Hill, Jeff Parker, Scott
Hey, you
Collins.
missed the prelude to the wedding with Robin Ra's Ghul.
I have it pulled up here. It's just they went out of order. Batman Prelude to the Wedding, Robin versus Ra's al Ghul, number 1. Tim Seeley, Brad Walker, and Raphael Albuquerque on the cover there. Alex, I know you're a guy who likes, what do you say, Ra's or Roz?
I always say Ra's, because when you call him Ra's, it's because you're friends or that you at least know him. Where if you call him Roz, then it's more like a stranger acquaintance term.
Okay, so Ra's, I know you like the character, but are you interested enough to get this kind of one-shot?
I think for the fact that it is the prelude to the wedding, and that I really do believe Ra's would have something against Bruce wanting to marry Selena. Obviously, Bruce has already talked to Talia in issue 34 and 35 that I could see Ra's being almost insulted. And it's fun to see that his grandson Damien, at least on the cover, my guess is defending his father's choice and going, this is what my dad wants, and I will fight for him against you. So I'm excited for this. I'm interested to see what happens. The only thing that kind of makes me weary is Tim Seeley's writing. So
I was thinking the same thing. It's just like lately, gosh, I don't know. Anything I've read by him has not been as great in a long time. It hasn't been that good. So I'm not saying that could be the case for this story because it's just a one-shot, but still, it's like I don't get excited when I see his name anymore.
Are you going to pick this up, Garrett?
Oh, I'm still going to get it. I like Brad Walker's art quite a bit, and I agree with Alex. I think the storyline, like if you read the solicit, like it'll be fun because Roz has always wanted Bruce to take on the heir of the demon, to become the heir of the demon, and when that's not the case, it's like, well, someone else has got to fill those shoes if Bruce isn't the candidate. So,
Black Lightning Hong Kong Phooey special number 1. This is Brian Hill, Jeff Parker, and Scott Collins. So if you're looking to pick that up too, pick him up. Number 1 super guy. There you go.
Yeah, you gonna get that?
No, I'm not getting any of the Looney or the Hanna-Barbera. Stuff. Yeah.
Doomsday Clock number 5 is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. The comedian lives, the mind and marionette loose on Gotham City. Rorschach locked in the bowels of Arkham Asylum. Secrets will be revealed as the Doomsday Clock ticks on. This thing has been delayed multiple times. They came back and said, hey, we're on a schedule now, and I think they missed that schedule that they promised, the new one. So it is getting to that point, I think on the show, the forecast, if you go back, we said, hey, you know what? The story's good enough. I can deal with these delays. It's getting to a point now where I'm like, okay, you can't keep saying, the first time I forgave you because you said, hey, we figured out a schedule. And then for you to go back on that schedule again, then it's kind of like, okay, now this needs to come on. It's still good. I like the last issue a lot. It was also that was the one where we had Rorschach's origin, right? The new Rorschach.
Right.
So I actually did like that one a lot. I thought it was great. But at one point, now I'm kind of like starting to lose what's going on because it's taking so long to come out. And that's when something loses quality for me because I can't remember it all. What do you think, Garrett?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the book's defense, I think you're thinking too hard just because, like, literally nothing huge is happening besides we've seen the comedian come back, and we've seen Adrian Rorschach go to the DC universe. So besides Rorschach's origin, I think that's really basically where we're at. They're just trying to find Dr. Manhattan. I get so excited when this book comes out. I know it's going to delay, but hey, if I get Gary Frank doing a whole issue, I don't care. If it was half a year, that might be a different story, but it has only been a couple months. And I did think the last issue was really strong. And, it still amazes me that there's 8 more issues left of content in this storyline. But I'm kind of curious how it coincides with current comics, if it's going to affect them in any way, shape, or form here coming up. So if this is that slow, I don't know. That's an editor's problem, but I am very excited, especially with the variant cover being Joker, so maybe he's more involved in this issue.
You mentioned the concern of how it's going to tie into other current books. That's going to be my concern when we get into issue 8, and by that point in time, it should have already been done. And so the outcome in issue 12 is already going to be spoiled for everyone because all the other books had to move on and have stories they need to be telling with what we've already learned, which we haven't learned. I don't know. These delays are starting to get old for the fact that we really are going to start ruining books, or all the other books are going to end up having to be delayed. So there's going to be fill-in stories.
Right. That's true, but I think DC has a better way of going about it. Like, they don't announce things until they know they're coming, like they're going to be
What are you
relevant.
talking about?
Well, I know, I'm saying...
They announced the new schedule and then they didn't follow it.
No, I'm not saying with that. I'm saying if there's any big comic book event or anything to come out of Doomsday Clock, they won't announce that until it's close.
They did with Metal was delayed, and they did all the Metal stuff before the last issue came out.
I know, but you didn't really need to know very much for Metal to understand those books.
Yeah, but there's characters who are still around, and we knew nothing was going to happen to them. Or characters were there now, and we're like, okay, I guess they show up in Metal. So.
Well, yeah, and same thing happens with Marvel all the time.
Well, I think what Alex is saying is valid, and like it's going to be a new status quo, and you're like, oh, I guess we get here somehow, but I'm not sure how it happened. I guess we'll see. I'm not sure. This is the big thing that they said, hey, this is going to change or somehow loop into this whole Rebirth story thing, and then for it to be delayed on a line-wide kind of initiative here is weird because this really should have been done. They've literally been working on this for 2 years, and how is it delayed? I'm not sure. Like Gary Frank,
that is.
Well, he hasn't done anything since that Rebirth issue. So like they're even delaying Batman Earth 1 Volume 3 to do this. So, like, what is he even doing? Like, he can't, like, they didn't get together and be like, hey, let's get this done and have it come out on time because this affects the whole line. It's very frustrating as a reader who picks it up, who wants to do it monthly, and then you tell me, hey, it's not going to come out monthly, but it's going to come out every other month. And then that isn't even true. So that's the only thing about it. And when I read it, it does affect that book a little bit because I know, hey, I don't know when the next issue is coming out. And should I really try to read this now or should I wait to read this?
Well, if Doomsday Clock does have relevance to the other books, then I at least know that John and Lois are still alive, so there's that comforting solace.
that is true.
Flash Speed Buggy Special Number 1. This is Scott Lobdell and Brett Booth. No.
Ooh, nope.
Pass it.
Yeah.
Green Arrow.
I agree.
Green Arrow Annual Number 2. This is Julie Benson, Shauna Benson, and Carmen Nunez Carnino. Title Rich Boy Oliver Queen grew up a member of the elite society, but after a drunken escapade left him stranded on a desert island, Oliver learned to survive and become more than a man. He became a hunter. He became a survivor. He became a hero. But when Green Arrow comes face to face with the challenge he never saw coming, his entire world view, his reason for being a hero comes into question because the challenger has a name, Amanda Waller. What do you think, Garrett? You get Green Arrow? You look excited for this annual?
No, I'm not going to get it.
Whoa! Don't you get the series?
No, I dropped it after Schmidt left.
Oh, I thought you would like the Benson.
No, because Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing were going to come. No, this is just the annual by the Bensons, and then they don't start till August. That's when we start picking it back up again.
Oh, okay.
I suppose don't get this though, because wouldn't this be their first taste of the book?
Yeah, and I might look through it, but I know it is definitely going to be like a prelude, and I'm not a big fan of like throwing Amanda Waller.
That's what I was going to ask. Together. I was like, do you really want to go through a whole issue of Amanda Waller? She might be the most annoying person in comics.
Right.
character.
Like the part about Justice League I hate the most is her anything to do with her. Like I love like Green Arrow was cool, but like when we talk about Justice League in a second, it's like Amanda Waller part could give 2 shits less, and you hate her for a reason. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't really like her as a character too. You know what she's only there for? It seems like she never has a personality. She's only there to either throw a wrench in plans or have like the ultimate solution to something. And like she's just this plot device that either way, whether or not you need to make it so the heroes have something to fight against or the heroes need to get out of something, she's like, hey, I got this, by the way. And it's like, okay. Like, I know she does have a character, but the character really hasn't been a focus for a while. It's been more like, hey, look at the secrets I have. And so that's the reason why she's annoying in comics for me right now. Mm-hmm. Green Lantern's number one. I want to bring this up because it's Annie Diggle writing, and Juan Ferreira, who was doing Green Arrow for a while, is doing the art. Every 1,000 years, a ceremony is held on a long-forgotten world to celebrate the life of an ancient Green Lantern hero. Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz are chosen to represent Earth at this event, but they quickly learn not as all as it seems. A secret has been buried on this planet. It's up to our heroes to find out and put the mystery to rest once and for all. Oh, I was excited for that cover was great.
Yeah, why wouldn't Juan Ferreira do the cover?
Well, I like that cover, and it showed Hal, and I was like, oh, is Hal going to team up with them in this issue? But I guess not. Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, Andy Diggle's a good writer. So
yes, yeah.
I would like to see his take on that. I'm not sure if it's enough for me to pick up an annual, but we'll see. I'll take a look through it. Justice League No Justice number 4. Is this the conclusion? Yep, epic finale that everybody will be talking about. After an unimaginable happens, the DCU must band together to defend Earth from annihilation before the end. New alliances will be forged. Some heroes will be lost forever. Don't miss the event that will set the stage for the Justice League in 2018 and beyond. Alex, do you really think since some people will be lost forever, is we going to have some stakes here?
I sure hope there's some stakes. Issue 1 and 2 were pretty good. I honestly haven't read 3 yet, which I realize is no surprise to anybody. But to know that there are people going to be lost, I really hope that means, and they don't have to die, but they need to go away. If they're going to go away, stay away. And let me actually have that grieving process. If you're going to kill Bruce Wayne off, kill him off. But let me have that time. Don't be bringing him back 2 months later going, by the way, guys, surprise, I was in the closet. No, let that skeleton rot.
This is Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, Francis Manapul, and art, also Marcus Toe. I wanted to bring that up because in issue 3, Marcus Toe does a good part of that book, and I really didn't like his art. It took me out of it.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have one consistent artist throughout that. I guess, it is a weekly, but still, they've been like Riley Rossman. I wish would have done the whole issue. And
the first 2 from Francis Manapul were great, and he's back for this, but he's not for the whole thing. So I guess that's the only thing with issue 3. It's like half the issue is Marcus Toe, and his characters just don't look like Francis Manapul's drawings. Riley Rossman was really close to Francis Manapul. I think they were trying to mash each other, but Marcus Toe, not really. So it just kind of takes me out of it. We'll see, though. I mean, I've liked the story so far, but we'll see how it ends. Oh, here we go. Oh,
shit.
Man of Steel number 1. Brian Michael Bendis' first full issue with DC. Joe Prado on art. And also Ivan Rice on art.
Rice.
He's also doing the cover there. Is he? Yeah, he is. A new era begins for Superman as a threat from his earliest origins reemerges to destroy the last son of Krypton. As Superman struggles to come to grips with what happened to his wife and son, he must also face a new threat that determined to burn down Metropolis. Garrett, here you go, $3.99. On that cover, we don't see any Lois, any John. What do you think? How's this going to go for you?
If you've heard me on the Gauntlet or other episodes where I've given brief comments about this, I am scared shitless. I made sure, like, we were discussing what books we're going to review on our show coming out this week, and I wanted this to be on here for the fact that I don't honestly know what's going to happen in this book. I feel like Bendis wants to make his presence known by whatever he changes to Superman's origin. And I feel like he's a guy that in the long run isn't trying to piss you off, but he wants to do what like Nick Spencer did with Evil Calf. Like do something so fucking crazy that you're just like, no way, how does this make sense? And then you gotta wait 5 years to figure out the story. So I'm very nervous, and I think trying to basically Toy Story the shit or Disney Pixar the shit out of Superman is the wrong way to go. Like, you don't make it so that this family splits up, and then just to make Superman more, how would you say it? I don't know, maybe more relatable or more.
But it's going to make him more alienated from everybody.
Right, exactly.
I think that's the one thing, is that being married to Lois, having John as his son, I think really brings him into that. This is where he belongs. He is a person. He wants to be a part of them.
It reminds him of his humanity. Exactly.
Yeah. And to have that, all it's going to do is make him, one, probably speak stupid, like you did in that one of those 8-page issue things we read. When you wanted it on the list, I was like, oh shit, that means I have to get it so we could talk about it. Because I don't even know if I'm at all interested in this.
I know, but I feel like, based on what we've read, this is going to be a huge turning point in Superman's history that we got to talk about it.
Well, I know, and I understand the big premise of it is that this is going to be a big to-do. It's a issue 1. This really sets the standard for what to expect from Bendis' writing. As a non-Bendis fan, I think maybe that's the one thing for me. I have not read anything lately that I've enjoyed of his. And to know that he's taken a first issue of one of the most iconic characters ever created, and of what I've read of the 16 pages, none of it's been good. So he must have some giant cojones to be like, I'm going to change some stuff up.
Well, let's see. I mean, I am the one who, when he first got announced coming to DC and everybody was like, hey, doesn't matter, he hasn't been a good writer for a long time. I was like, you guys have forgot how great this guy used to be. And I went on this hot tirade. Go back to that episode. I'm not sure what it is. But look in the show notes. It's good. I defend him for like 5 minutes. But so far, I've had egg in my face. These 2 little snapshots we've gotten of this story. So I am picking this up, hoping that finally we'll read this and be like, yes, this is the guy I was talking about, guys. Like, this is going to be great. And I don't think I'll have the hangups that Garrett has. I know he's worried about the changes, but I think I'll give him the mini and see how it goes. If it's good, if it's a bad comic issue in general, and then I think we're gonna have to call it as we see it and be like, hey, I don't like Alex said, I think he lost something a while back, and I think he's not good anymore.
Well, I just read Iron Man 600, and I thought that was really great. And the end of Jessica Jones. Hey, so
Defenders was great too for a little bit until he found out he was leaving, and then it got wrapped up like in 2 seconds. But I remember we liked that. Remember the first 3 or 4 issues? It was great. So I mean, he can write a good book. I just don't know. I don't know if this is the character for him. I know he really wants to write it, but I don't know if he really should. And also, I'm not sure if coming into it this way is the way to come into it, being like, oh, we're going to change everything you know about Superman. I don't know if that's the right thing for him right now. I think he should have been the guy that decided being like, hey, you know what? I'm going to come in. I know I'm a big name, but I'm going to take a character that is on the sidelines, like Question, and I'll write a Question book. It can do its own thing. It doesn't have to be in the main continuity. It's not like the flagship title. I can do my own thing and kind of figure out this universe, and then maybe you tap me for like an event in 3 or 4 years. But to come in and be like right away, like Alex said, the guts on this guy to come in and be like, hey, I'm going to come in right away and change everything about your main character, your first character that you've ever had, the guy who everybody knows around the world when they look at that symbol. Yeah, well, he really has to back it up with the story. So there's a lot of pressure on him for this issue to be the issue. So we'll see. I am kind of very curious about this to see if it's going to be good or not. And I think anybody who even has if you don't read comics and you're listening to this show, I think it's there are greater comics to start with, but if you want something that people are going to be talking about to be in the know, and I'm sure it'll be all over the place when it comes out about spoilers and stuff like that, this is the book. This is the book that everybody's going to be talking about this week. So get this book if you want to keep up with what's going on. Super Sons Dynamite Special #1. Peter J. Tomasi writing. Eau Claire Albert doing the art. There you go, Dynamite. And John Kent is visiting the big city with his parents for the funeral of an old friend. His best pal, Damian Wayne, decides to follow. You got Dynamite and Blue Falcon. So go ahead and pick that up if you're interested.
I think it's Dynamut.
Oh, that's why I was saying Dynamite? Oh, yeah, you're right. Dynamut. Sorry.
I think it's a dog, so.
Oh, really? Marvel Comics.
I think so.
It is. I was looking at it. Okay. Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man number 800. Dan Slott, Stuart Immonen, Ramos.
There's not even a 1 on that number.
Kepsi, Kamikoli, Jim Chung, and Alex Ross on a cover. Very terrifying cover. Dan Slott. Oh, here we go with the bullet points. Dan Slott, Stuart Immonen are joined by many of the artists who made the last 10 years of Spider-Man so amazing. The biggest Peter Parker, Norman Osborn story of all time unfolds in one 80-page story, a scope unmatched in comics. Who lives, who dies, what scars will be Spider-Man bear here on out. You know what? $10, which is kind of a lot, but still 80 pages. But I do like that it's 80 pages, one story. They're not filling it with any kind of like classic Spider-Man junk. Not that it's junk, but they always do that. They like have a 20-page story and then it's 60 pages of reprints. So 80 pages of one story, which sounds pretty good. Alex, this is 800 issues. Are you excited to see the conclusion to... Well, it's not really a conclusion, right? It's just 800 issue.
And so 801's his last issue, isn't it?
But this, I
803, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I actually really am excited. I am behind. I know, no surprise to anybody ever. But I will get caught up for it. And I believe it's actually on this week's show to talk about. So I don't know. I've all of a sudden, as actually a couple nights ago when we were working on our 100th episode, guest host number 1, and I talked to Spider-Man for a solid hour, and it got me amped to read some Spider-Man, to talk some Spider-Man. So I'm just, bring it on, Spider-Man. Bring me that the Tom Holland. Come on, Spider-Man. Yes, bring it.
Spider-Man.
Daredevil number 603, Charles Soule, Mike Henderson. I'm going to make a confession just like Daredevil would. I haven't read 600 yet, so I'm not sure if I'm still getting this book or not. You guys dropped out. I am still on, but I do want to reach out to our listeners and say, anybody who gets Daredevil right now, are you still getting it? Is it still good? Or are you just getting it because you're a Daredevil fan and you just get the issues? Let me know if I should drop this or not pick this up. Because I'm not going to read 3 issues by Wednesday, so... Marvel 2-in-1 number 6. This is Chip Zdarsky, Jim Chung. The fate of the Four revealed at last. A mad final gambit against the death of the universe. Ben and Johnny join forces with familiar friends, but will doom ruin everything? The fate of the Four will be determined here. We know this book is staying around even after Fantastic Four returns, but it sounds like this might be a big issue about how they get back. What do you think, Garrett?
Yeah. The storyline's kind of warped for me since I've just read Iron Man, because Doom is in that. So it's interesting to see the revelations of Invincible Iron Man, if they're mentioned in this book or if they're talked over. But anyways, this book itself has been incredible. We do have a Fantastic Four book coming out, but this itself is like, I almost don't need a Fantastic Four book because it's kind of more fun. The mystery of the Fantastic Four maybe getting together down the line, but that Johnny and the Thing are in this journey together.
I think it's one of those things that I almost wish that there wasn't going to be a Fantastic Four book quite yet. I was really enjoying this 2-in-1, and I know, like you already said, it's going to keep coming out, but there's something so strong and so familiar reading this 2-in-1. I didn't need the other 2 characters yet. I could just enjoy this and the hunt for those characters.
It would have been cool if this was like a maxi, and that led right into the new Fantastic Four book.
Like 12 issues of them looking for them to finally show up and then be like, here we are. I guess that's maybe what I want. I know that's not what I'm going to get. But I loved this book so much that I think it almost hurts to see that Fantastic Four is just getting thrown right back in the loop.
You're both agreed that they should bring back Fantastic Four. I've been waiting too long. I need my Reed Richards today.
Come on, Mr. Terrific.
I need him right now. But that Fantastic Four book doesn't start till August. So I'm curious how it says the fate of the Four will be revealed here. Are they going to be in this book and then it ramps up to Fantastic Four, or is it just a tease and it doesn't happen in this issue? I guess we'll see. This book's been excellent though. So if you're looking for a Fantastic Four book or just a fun book with Ben and Johnny, here you go. 2-in-1. Punisher 225. This is Matthew Rosenberg, Judy Fonanova, Target, Punisher. Frank Castle is a man on the run. With his War Machine armor being tracked, Frank needs to stay one step ahead of Nick Fury if he wants to keep a handle on his heavy artillery. And for what the Punisher's got planned, he's going to need it. How's this book been going, guys? By the way, also, I don't read this book. Is that Nick Fury? Is that the Ultimate Nick Fury, or is that the real Nick Fury?
Ultimate Nick Fury.
Okay, go on. How's this book been?
Yeah. This is like, right now, it's like Civil War, except it's only the Punisher versus the rest of the Marvel heroes.
This is
insane.
That Punisher Warzone, where it's 5 issues of Punisher pretty much kicking the crap out of everybody. Oh, the last issue I realized he got the crap kicked out of him by Captain Marvel. I am so excited for this. And I want Frank Castle to come out on top. Obviously, he's not going to kill the heroes. Maybe, well, who knows? Maybe he will. Maybe he's really crossed over and he's like, screw you guys. I'm going home and you're going in body bags. I cannot wait to see the outcome and the bloodshed in this issue.
Star Wars Lando, Double or Nothing, #1. This is Rodney Barnes. Pilo Vanelli, straight from the frames of the highly anticipated film Solo, a Star Wars story, Swagger, a younger and somehow even cocker Lando Calrissian, before his days in the rebellion, before he ran Cloud City, even before he lost the Millennium Falcon, comes this tale of Lando's adventures and misadventures in search of love and money, leading right up to his appearance in Solo. Lando Calrissian's my boy, so I got to get this book. I got to get it. Especially with Donald Glover right on the cover there, so...
Did you guys go see Solo yet?
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I mean, if it was a Lando movie, I would have been there the day before it came out, if you know what I mean. But it's about Solo. I like Han Solo, but I need my... I know Lando's in that movie, but he's not the star, so I'm not going. We'll see. I mean, I will see it, but I just wasn't excited to be like, let me go out right away. Plus, it's a busy weekend for us, especially, so I didn't go see it, but... X-Men Red Annual #1, Tom Taylor, Pascal Alexi. I'm not sure you said that last name. After Resurrection, before Red, Jean Grey was reborn in a world that had changed. Her friends and family had lived lives. Some had lost lives. And this is the Jean's story of catching up losses and triumphs, reconnecting with old colleagues, grieving for those lots, and meeting family members she didn't know existed. Garrett, are you getting this? I know you get X-Men Red. You going to get this annual, though?
Yeah, I am. A, Tom Taylor's writing it, but B, I think it's going to kind of inform how this team formed together before issue 1. Because, if you weren't reading the stuff beforehand, it's just that that Jean Grey's back and she's leading this new X-Men team. So I think this is going to kind of explain where she came from when she was resurrected, and then it's probably going to just be like a greatest hits about why she deserves to be the leader of this X-Men Red team.
A lot of good books this week. Alex, what do you think? What looks like your pick?
I think my most anticipated one will be probably Royal City 11. We're coming back from a little break. We're getting back into the present day story. Start this last 4-issue arc. I am ready to roll with it, ready to see if I tear up, because it's a possibility.
Garrett?
I look forward to Doomsday Clock. I think that, even though it has been on break, anytime an issue comes out, just being in that universe where there's potential for your favorite Watchmen characters to show up, it's very exciting. So I am very pumped for that book.
Wow, no Man of Steel, huh?
No. If you're talking about most anticipation, as in I hope to God you're not ruining my favorite superhero, then I guess that's one way to look at it.
My most anticipated, the one I think will be good, is Kill or Be Killed #19. The one I'm really looking forward to and I'll probably read first. The one I'll read second is that Man of Steel, because I am really curious to how that's going to happen and how that's going to roll out. Plus, I got to read it before Garrett does and say, hey, Garrett, you're going to like this, you're not going to like this.
That's going to be the first thing I do that day is read that.
It's going to be very exciting to read it and see how it goes. But Kill or Be Killed if you want something good. Man of Steel if you're curious, if you want to hear what everybody's talking about. Man of Steel. Alex, the weather's been so hot out there. I'm probably dehydrated right now. That's probably why I can barely speak tonight. Will your comics dehydrate before you can take them home?
Whew, well, I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. It could rain, according to my forecasting. I mean, I'm looking outside right now. It's dark, so it's hard to see those clouds. But I smell in the air a little bit of moisture, which could either be some rain. It could also be that pool that's over there. I'm pointing at a pool. You know what? Who knows what that weather's going to bring? All I can tell you is keep those books in that plastic sack that you get them in. At least most comic book stores I know have a plastic sack. You keep them in there so they're safe and dry. The humidity in the air won't get to them. If it rains, it won't get to them. If it snows, they're safe.
Oh,
Do it.
Alex, it'd only be a Marvel comic book shop that would give you a paper bag.
That is true. Made from expired and recycled books. I don't know how books expire.
You went to.
Oh no! Marvel would kill a tree.
You went to weather school for 12 years, and that's how you tell the weather. You just look outside.
Well, I lived in Alaska for 6 years. That's where my weather school was at. You know how we found out what the weather was going to be? We sat down by the walruses, stuck your hand in the water. If it was warm, rain was coming, snow was coming. If it was cold, it was going to be sunny. It was ironic, but that's how you learn.
Garrett, how are the ropes looking?
Gosh, my head is just in the potholes, if you catch my drift from what Alex just said. But to talk about the real potholes, I don't care about them. But as far as traffic to get your books is concerned, I think that you shouldn't have any problem getting your books if you get to your shop quite early, because there's a lot of good stuff coming out tomorrow. I think we're more on that higher quality of the spectrum as opposed to last week, which we had some good books. But very much looking forward to this week. There's some big gems, which we'll be looking forward to. And there's one book that you might be going 5 miles per hour less than you would your normal speed, because that's that Man of Steel. It could change everything. So it's going to make me just like sit outside the shop and be like, do I turn around right now? And kind of like Star Wars The Last Jedi. What if I just think of the Return of the Jedi at the bonfire, and then everything will be okay? So we'll see.
Everybody, don't forget to tell your friends about the show, but also go back and listen to episode 100. We had some guests on, and we had a fun time there, so listen to that episode. It is
so much fun.
It's only an hour, so like if you got an hour, go ahead and listen to it. It's shorter than our normal episodes, so you should be able to digest it, and then listen to this show. Actually, you've listened to this show if you're at this point. And then carry on. Maybe send that one to your friends and let them know about Wednesday Comics. Spread the word, just like how we're spreading the word. I'm not sure what I'm about to say, but Brian Michael Bendis, if you do good on that Man of Steel issue tomorrow, and it does today, tomorrow, it is tomorrow. If you do good on that issue tomorrow, and it's good for me, but it's bad for Garrett, I will love you forever. My name is Marvin.
I'm Alex.
That's my biggest fear. I'm Garrett.
Hey everyone, keep reading those books.